Welcome to episode 4 of the 5 C's of Survivability. There's been a late season change, a late season trade in this absence of NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball. I'd like to talk about trades. Come on inside. I'll tell you a little bit about a trade that happened late in my assessment of the 5 C's. That late season trade is cordage for cover and cover for cordage. And we've already talked about containers, number 1, combustibility, fire, number 2, went over cutlery yesterday. Today in episode 4, I changed my mind, late season trade. We're jumping up to cover. Cover includes, first of all, the clothing. That's stuff that we wear and head out into the woods. So I wanted to talk about cover, and not only our clothing, but what I use for shelter in the bushcraft small pack, as opposed to backpacking and through hiking mentality. First of all, clothing. I'm telling you what, living here in Florida, the weather can be so changeable. Today, the high was 71, and it was 60s most of the day here on a little timestamp, April 16th, 2020, in the midst of the pandemic. So we started out the morning at 63 degrees, rainy, and it stayed that way most of the morning, and it never really climbed until it's 5 minutes to 4. Now it got in the 70s, 73, didn't get to 73, it got to 63, 65, 68, 71. 71 is the high, 71 degrees right now. It looks like that's going to be high for the day. For clothing, I am informed by my years of racing and triathlon. The tech fabrics that we wear, just awesome. They get wet as you sweat, but they dry quick. And there's an adage in that through hiking community that cotton kills. Well, I beg to differ. Years and years ago, back in the 60s, when Outward Bound was first started, adventuring for students in particular to head out into the wilderness, cotton was a major fabric. As a matter of fact, years ago, when I was hunting, this would be the kind of shirt that I would wear. I'm going to include the little still photo of this shirt that I held up in front of a camera and took a still picture of the cell phone from showing through the fabric. It's very light, cottony fabric. It's a great tech fabric. It gets wet. You'll sweat on your back. You take that pack off, however, and this lightweight cotton, you can almost see through it. Not bad. It's not a bad fabric. It's the original tech fabric. As a matter of fact, the original tech fabric would be wool. Wool. It's a great fabric. Keeps you warm in the winter. It keeps you cool in the summer. Not this weight fabric, these old hunting pants. And they take their wear. That's a bad butt. I've patched up many of these Woolrich pants over the years. You can take that and patch it up, and there'll be many more years. This is probably a generation 6 or 7 of pairs of wool pants. And to this day, the New York State Police, that uniform is a wool issue. We had heavier wool for the winter. What do they call it? Maybe worsted wool? It's a finer wool, but I'll tell you, I spent some hot days on patrol in the Adirondacks and in the summer, and it was still fairly a cool fabric. So tech fabrics are good. Talk about a intermediate layer. This is a tech fabric I experimented with. Long sleeve. It's a base. I used it as a base layer in that winter camp out through the January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. You can take a look at the YouTubes on the Florida Trail backpacking trip. Another techie fabric. Reel Legends, REEL, fishing stuff, Salt Life, Fish Life. Little hoodie. A couple of pockets in there. That's a good one too. Loving that. And lightweight. Also for shelter, this is one of those blow-up mattresses, camp mattresses. It's lightweight. I'm sure it's a half or 3/4 pad, enough for your hips and your shoulders. I'm willing to bet, yeah, gonna be a good size. And a little hint from one of those backpackers, when he deploys that at night, he puts the rubber band right around his wrist. There you go. Nice, very lightweight. Didn't weigh it recently, but I have weighed these. The tarp that I'll be using, 5x7. I've added some loops to each of the grommets and a hammock. Keep me off the ground. Emergency poncho. Probably not worth more than one use or so. Tech fabric pants. And my Cabela's outer jacket. Not waterproof, but water repellent. For starters. Tyvek. This is a sheet that's been cannibalized. It's probably originally 8x12. Tyvek, we've been using it quite often. We actually use it for a shelter half. The Tyvek. But I'm not sure I would cut a piece bigger than just enough to put under me in the shelter. Covers come before cordage. Here's some Tyvek that I cut off of the end piece, the 4-foot section. Twisted. That can make some cordage for you. You're not gonna rip it. And there's some cordage could be made from the Tyvek. And so I'm bumping back and forth between cordage and shelter and cover. Cordage and cover. I got some more tricks for tomorrow. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. A little knot in the end of this Tyvek strip. How about that? And a knot every so far. There you go. In the comments below, give me some more hints on how to use the Tyvek. Getting a twist to it. I know Corporal's Corner, he built that bushcraft winder to wind up some twine to make rope. Twist, twist, twist. I actually built this, or used these to put a tree protector for the hammock straps. Simple overhand knot. Tech fabric, man, you're not gonna break that. Right over left, left over right. Now I got a loop that will come out. Put a stopper knot in there. So cover, tech fabric, the original tech fabric, wool, cotton, layer up, making lots of layers. You know this from other things. Base layer for me, it works for me, cotton. Then perhaps this intermediate layer. Socks, darn tough socks, a wool blend. Maybe even 100% wool. And there's that merino wool that you can find all kinds of good base layer stuff in. So cover, bumped up to number 4. Cordage, 5th and final episode tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. Check back. Subscribe if you would, please. We're trying to build the channel up to make sure we can broadcast our worship services on Sundays and Wednesdays to our church group. We can't do it live until we got 1,000 subscribers. Try to keep the content coming. Try to make it worth your while. Check out Cindy's Tai Chi at 10 and a lot of other good exercise stuff. Stay active during the COVID thing so that when it's lifted, that you can get out there and enjoy camping, hiking, bushcrafting, through hiking. Stay active. Stay healthy. Love that little tarp. Walmart. Sil nylon. A really lightweight hammock. Little bonus vid on something I just remembered. I was out in the shop taking a look. The new can openers, electric can openers, will open up a can so that the lid is not sharp. Man, I'm thinking tinder. Oh, it does kind of give you a little fit by collapsing in. Oh yes, hear that little snap. And the old Celestial Seasonings. Good container. That is all. Can't think of anything else that dawned on me. Like some of the weights. 10 ounces. And this is another 14 ounces. Lightweight. I'm throwing in the sleeping pad. Pretty soon here, after the cordage, I'm going to combine the cordage in episode 5 with packing up this pack. I'm itching to get out there. We're itching to hike. There's that Nylaflume waterproof bag. Here, I'll sprinkle this. But it's strong stuff, Nylaflume. So we're going to get out there sooner than later. Gold. Subscribe, please. Talk to you the next time.